Dan Bongino was boxing up his FBI office as exit rumors swirl. And somewhere out there, a hard drive full of his old podcast episode is screaming. This is the same guy who spent years telling millions of people that the FBI was lost, broken, or irredeemably corrupt, and a part of the deep state plot against Donald Trump, and then happily took the #2 job at the irredeemably corrupt agency under Trump's handpicked director, Kash Patel. So today we're going to walk through the rise and the fall of Dan Bongino, how we talked about the FBI when it was convenient, what he said once he was in the FBI, and why those two versions of Dan cannot exist in the same universe without something breaking. Before he was Deputy Director Bongino, he was a Secret Service guy, and then a failed Republican candidate, then a Fox News weekend host, and one of the biggest pro-Trump podcasters in the country. He built his brand yelling about Spygate, insisting the FBI and the DOJ had staged the greatest scandal in American political history to take down Trump, that the Bureau was weaponized and irredeemably corrupt, and that the so-called deep state was out to destroy conservatives. That outrage machine got big enough that when Fox and Bongino couldn't agree on a new contract in 2023, he walked away with a massive independent audience and a daily show built entirely on these conspiratorial hits against the FBI and anyone who worked there. Then in early 2025, plot twist. Donald Trump names Kash Patel FBI director, and suddenly Dan Bongino is tapped as deputy director of the FBI, in the same institution he's been calling a criminal cartel on air. The job is usually held by career agents. Bongino was not that, which is why FBI agents themselves said they were shocked and dismayed that a right-wing podcaster who called the Bureau irredeemably corrupt was now running its day-to-day operations. Overnight, the guy who said the FBI couldn't be trusted with a stapler is in charge with running the building, and he's telling people he wants to restore trust and that the FBI belongs to the American people. So which is it, Dan? Irredeemably corrupt, or is it safe enough to hand you the keys? Then the receipts start clashing. On his podcast, Bongino told the audience the FBI was holding the identity of the January 6th pipe bomber, hinting it was an inside job and calling it the biggest scandal in FBI history. Fast forward to Deputy Director Bongino on TV, and he's suddenly saying the Bureau will move forward based solely on verified information, and that conspiracies about FBI false flags operations aren't helpful. On the podcast, he pushed baseless claims that the 2020 election was stolen and painted federal law enforcement as a weapon against MAGA. As a top FBI official, he's out there defending the Bureau's work, insisting they follow the facts and trying to calm down the very mob he spent years riling up. And when you look at the A-B cut, the only thing that really changed was his job title. The deep state somehow became respectable the minute it had its name on the office door. So now we're at the fall part. Multiple reports say Bongino has told people his plans to leave the FBI in the coming weeks, and Trump himself is out there telling reporters he thinks Bongino wants to go back to his show.